Gentle people, seek the Lord in truth and vision. Seek wisdom, whether you be leaders of nations or citizens of nations. Seek God's purposes and plans, not the plans of men. Seek the truth and not delusions, because those who believe in delusions will die by them. And now we have today John W. Spring, and we're getting some breakthrough. In fact, we just had a contact over the weekend of a gentleman who actually identified that he has a contact with Donald Trump's son as well. So that we're getting closer and closer to making a direct contact. Now, I'm going to describe this. I believe that Donald Trump is a well-intentioned man. He's probably, like his father, a high-level Scottish Rite Mason. He's an American patriot. He's probably, if he gets the proper advice, potentially the greatest leader of America. But when he does things basically in his own mind and does 11,000 tweets and doesn't listen to his citizens, just the crowd or shroud, if you want to call it, of advisors, whether it's John Bolton or Mike Pompeo, he's leading the nation into destruction. Whether it's toward building a temple with Jared Kushner, whether it's dealing with Syria incorrectly, whether it's dealing incorrectly with Russia and China and missile defense, Donald Trump is marching us step by step toward annihilation. And I want people to know that I pray for Donald Trump, because I know on the other side it's very obvious. The demon rats, the same term as that Judge Pirro uses over on Fox News, she's of course of Syrian descent, so am I, that we're dealing with a situation now where it is the end of the age. We could, if we started a war a few weeks ago with Iran, be dealing with a Russian attack from the La Orchila Island, Lesser Antilles, and from Punta Huerte, Nicaragua. And we could have been dealing with the annihilation of 300 million Americans, which will hold up their hand and for the last time see their bones in their hand as a thermonuclear flash of X-rays turns their cells into superheated steam at 50,000 degrees, and all of a sudden they just say, "Hello, Lord." Now, people think, well, that can't happen. Yeah, we are facing annihilation. And yes, we have weapons that will destroy Russia and China, but we will be a Pyrrhic victory, because only a tiny minority of Americans would even survive the first 2 months. And most of those would die in the first months after the collapse of the power grid and our ecosystems, and probably a nuclear-induced ice age. So we have to understand the word of the Lord is basically saying, pray, and you out there listening need to write and email that Donald Trump needs to repent of his own wisdom. One of the things I've learned, being more intelligent than the average, if you do not submit your intelligence to the Creator God, your intelligence will be your undoing. Your own IQ, your own ability to ask questions and raise issues, this is the very definition of evil that was put before on Genesis 3 with Eve, who I'm sure was a very intelligent lady. She said, of course, look, we've already named all the animals and plants, O Adam. We know all the creatures of the earth. We've lived over 900 years. Surely that we do not need to pray to the Lord in order to discern what his wisdom is, because we already made us perfect. And of course, the serpent told her that, yes, you're so perfect, you don't need to consult God anymore. You've graduated. There's no graduation from the Lord, is there, John W. Spring, is there?
None whatsoever, Dr.
Right.
Deagle.
And I want John, if I could have a word, because, every day we are closer to the day of our own demise and death. And I know this, having literally been resurrected by the Lord multiple times, birth 5 years ago in January. I know that my daily existence is dependent on the Lord saying, I want this man to speak truth to power, to the powerful, and to the citizens of earth. Because, you see, if 1,000 or a million citizens heard this message and contacted Donald Trump to say, I want to speak to John W. Spring, who I believe has a apostolic and prophetic calling. I want to speak to Dr. Bill Deagle. He's not just a man with wisdom that worked at U.S. Space Command, Missile Defense Command. He has a word from the Most High God for me, so I can repent of my powerful intellect, my ability to do business, my ability to run The Apprentice, my ability to run the presidency like a World Federation Wrestling, and to have giant crowds that worship me and think I'm great. On the other hand, to polarize people to the point where they're so frightened of his ability to go against their version of the New World Order that they're willing to destroy his presidency with impeachment. So what we have is a dialectic of evil. And neither side of this is actually good. Donald Trump's response to them is inappropriate, and their attack against him is inappropriate. Donald Trump's response in Syria, thank God he turned around and just moved 50 special forces, was inappropriate. But the fact is, we have solutions. In fact, I ask people and I beg them, call into the show, ask a question, or if you don't want to call in, ask by email, 818-818-6401, and the Lord God will provide me and my cohort, such as John W. Spring, the genius that first notifies of the first attack in 1961 that took a year with a U-2 flight to prove he was correct, and 1983 with Grenada Island. We're in a much more dangerous place right now. We are seconds, not minutes to midnight. It literally, tomorrow may be the last day of mankind, and we're not going to get a long warning. Like the foolish Christians that think, we're going to have a temple, we're going to have 7 years, we're going to have this, we're going to have that. No, you're going to have nothing. If things go south here, they're going to go south really quick. And people need to understand that there's a Damocles sword hanging over America, and America is the nation that the Lord told me through his angel is the nation that's going to force the mark of the beast. We're making deals with Huawei in China. We're making deals with the devil, with Mr. Xi, who wants to be emperor not only of China but the world through AI and the beast system. We're making deals to create a new world order. In fact, George Bush Sr. announced the 10 years to the day before 9/11 and the demolition of the World Trade Center towers. The last hour, by the way, they not even blocked my call from Ken Klein trying 5 times. I had to connect him by phone because they didn't want any visions of the Most High God as to how close we are to destruction. And Mr. Donald Trump, you're going to either talk to me while you're still living and I'm still living, or you're going to talk to me at the judgment seat where I'm dead and so are you. That's the facts. Now, people out there might say, well, I think he goes crazy. I say, you'll find out the hard way. You'll either find out in prayer that I'm a submitted Christian and I'm willing to give up my life for the truth of the Most High God, and so is John W. Spring, who's a genius in his own right in terms of the geopolitical history of what's going on. And his research saved us from probably annihilation of America back in the early 1960s. God withheld judgment back then. But I don't think he's going to withhold it any much longer. Honest to gosh, I honestly think we're at the end of the age. So, John, I want you to understand, when we're looking at this, we're not just looking at something that's technical details and facts. We're looking at something that's basically, we're seeing the end of grace coming and the beginning of judgment, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And unfortunately, at any moment, any time, that could occur.
Right, and it could occur, and we can even give you mechanisms by which it could occur. Just to give you an example, Putin is most likely, and I'm just saying this from my speculation and research, most likely the blood descendant of Queen of the Katerina, the Romanov, and Rasputin. So that's why I refer to him as Rasputin. The man is a genius, doesn't drink a drop of vodka, master in martial arts, and again, a master of his own intellect. Again, your own intellect is your greatest enemy when you're trying to have a relationship with God, isn't it? Why do you think the Pindar visited me 27 years ago? Because I have one of the greatest intellects of humanity on earth. Doesn't it serve me well unless I submit to God? Unless you submit your will to the Most High God, you cannot be his child. And you cannot be saved and not be sinless unless God removes the sin from you. You can't do a dang thing to make yourself sinless. Only God can. But people don't get that. They don't get it that we are now looking for a sign. They want a temple. They want a sign. They want this or that. What the sign is, the sign of Jonah. They have to accept the fact that Yeshua Jesus paid the price because God had to incarnate in flesh, pay the price of his own judgment against mankind in their fallen state, and save mankind by suspending judgment to say, I'm going to make you a child of me again by resurrecting and your spiritual self beyond your physical body. Now, of course, that relationship can start today, but people have to understand, right now, America is the beast. when you look at the New World Order and you look at the America from space, you think of it as Alaska is like the head of the dragon, the belly is California, and the tail is Florida. Doesn't it look like a beast?
Yes.
From space? And if you understand this, even the Voynich document from Sir Francis Bacon 500 years ago, the genius, illegitimate son of Queen Elizabeth I, by the way, he was her illegitimate son. By the way, Queen Elizabeth was a genius, and so was her mother, who was beheaded, because they knew the apostasy of the so-called Roman Catholic Church, and later, of course, the Church of England, was not going to withstand, and that's why they took her head off. Anybody that stands against the current order is going to be persecuted. Even someone doing ineffectively. For example, Donald Trump is standing against the New World Order, both the left and the right. But the man is stumbling. He's stumbling toward our destruction. And right now, he almost screwed up with the thing with Syria, saying you're going to pull troops out. And here is Turkey saying they're going to go into northern Syria and set up an encampment for Sunni residents to live there. No, Turkey wants to take over Syria and the Middle East, okay? And Turkey is a Sunni country, so is the Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia, and so on. But the ultimate conflict is between the two different sects of Islam. And, of course, people don't realize that 42% of the army of Russia is Shiite. 17 million of the residents of Russia itself have for hundreds of years been Muslim. People don't understand Islam is completely Luciferic, and so is the Catholic Church. So are the apostate Christians. So are those who think that salvation is gained by your intellect and by having a sign. What I see happening is well-intentioned people don't understand that even the U.S. Constitution isn't a godly institution. It's a Luciferic oppositional power setup. The fact we have a Supreme Court in opposition to the so-called executive branch in the House, and it's all out of control. Right now we have an active coup. If Trump actually operated properly, he would declare martial law and start jailing these people. They need to go to jail. He would start doing serious things to say, look, why are you in 80% of the new so-called Christians trying to crawl out of the communism in China are the newest Christians on earth. 80% of them are Chinese. Do people know that? Do you know that the average, that 80% of the new believers on earth that want to know the Lord are Chinese living in China, and the persecution of a horrifying place that aborts babies and tissue types you if you have one sheet of the Bible? People don't get this, do they? Our brothers and sisters are suffering in these countries because we look the other way, aren't they?
Yes, that's so true.
It's disgusting. Yeah.
Yes.
I want you to get into it now because I want people to understand we're at the end of the road. And I have this kind of feeling, where there's my own physical situations where God has resurrected me multiple times, where I see our nation hanging in the balance. I see the election. I mean, it's not just a thrust for power by Nancy Pelosi, I call Pelosi, and Mr. Nadler, I've changed his name to Rattler, like a rattlesnake, and Adam Schiff, I've changed the last two letters to T, because that's what he's full of. These people are satanically energized. I can even name you the incubi and succubi, the sexual warrior demons inside these people, because they're not operating on a normal human plane of just greed and sexual perversion. They're demonically energized by the dark side, and they are self-destructively, physically, emotionally, and economically suicidal, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So when we come back, we're going to hear from John W. Spring. I did a little rant here today in the first segment. God help us and God help America. If we don't get through to Trump here in the next few weeks or months, America is in dire straits. We are now almost just 1 year from Election Day, and I believe we are so close to judgment, you can smell the breath of the dragon.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Legacy Emergency Foods is the top recommendation from Dr. Bill Deagle for the lowest oxygen concentration, the largest entrees, the highest amount of protein, the most varied entrees as well, and the longest food storage life. Nothing like Legacy Emergency Foods, and if you place a regular monthly order, you get 20% off and free shipping. Do get Emergency Foods for your supply for preparation, and get it from Legacy Foods. Contact Dr. Bill Deagle for the link at NutriMedical.com. Go to the Shop by Products link and drop-down message at NutriMedical.com, and then place your orders for regular emergency food for yourself and your family. Nothing like emergency food if the power goes out and you can't go to grocery stores, or if there's an emergency or a national crisis. So NutriMedical.com, top recommendation, Legacy Foods. NutriMedical.com, go to the Shop by Products and drop-down menu, and stay well with NutriMedical every day of your life. Lumen photon therapy, infrared light, far and near infrared, is extremely important for pain control, stimulation of nitric oxide, improved perfusion, and stem cell activation and reduction of cytokines. Dr. Bill uses it for pain control, for regeneration techniques, for organ regeneration, and for stimulation of your stem cell activity. This amazing lumen photon therapy this year will probably have an additional device with frequency therapy during the on phase of the lights. To obtain a lumen photon machine, contact Dr. Bill at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. He'll prescribe it with you providing nutraceuticals to help with your regeneration, healing, and pain control. Nothing like the lumen photon therapy for easy therapy for your eyes, your pain, your joints, regeneration of organs, detoxification of the body. Get a lumen photon machine from Dr. Bill Deagle, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well with NutriMedical. The Sonic Life Machine is one of the most amazing therapies that Dr. Bill provides. It is the best sine wave exercise machine on the planet, doing whole body vibration, opening up the muscle to reduce insulin resistance, improve perfusion, release stem cell therapy throughout the body, and epigenetically stimulate the body to release DNA activated. The epigenetic therapy with the sine wave curve of frequencies given for atomic resonance, but Linus Pauling for minerals and amino acids stimulates the production of messenger RNA to correct structural protein enzyme deficiency for almost every illness. There's nothing like the sine wave therapy for improving body healing for exercise, but also the epigenetic treatments Dr. Bill can provide can help neutralize frequencies for disease states and illness. Get a Sonic Life machine through Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com. Contact us at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871, or go to the website NutriMedical and give us a contact. Dr. Bill is available to help you get well with NutriMedical.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer and vascular inflammation and plaque, and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report on the Genesis Radio Network with open lines every weekday. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
welcome back. Now, after my rant, it's time for you to rant, John W. I'm very concerned about the fate of the Kurds, by the way. I have some Kurdish blood myself because the Medo-Persians brought my ancient family, which were the descendants of Moses, and married the daughter of the king of the Medes. And the Magi, believe it or not, were a combination of Kohanim and Kurds. People don't know that, do they? They came from Esfahan, western Iran, the capital of Media. And people don't realize it's also very close to the Bushehr reactor, which I guarantee you, now that we've given long-range tanker bombers and so on, the Israelis, if they're actually pushed too far, they'll bomb the hell out of it, and it'll salt the world with radiation. It'll make even Fukushima Daiichi look like a party. People don't know that is actually something that could happen any day. That Israel could just bomb the hell out of the Bushehr reactor, built since the 1970s by the Russians. And the Russian response to us might be a thermonuclear attack, at least, even the very least of it, a weapon of indignation to knock out the power grid from high altitude, or a cyber attack. They have the most advanced cyber attacking digital people on Earth are the Russians. The Chinese are a close second, and others like North Korea, etc. But the Russians are the most advanced, and they're dangerous. And people don't understand that they're like a penned wild animal, the Russians, and they've been abused, and they know they've been abused. They know they've been destroyed. It was the British and the Jesuits and the Vatican that actually created the Russian Revolution. It wasn't created internally in Russia. It wasn't something that spontaneously happened. I actually took care of troops that took care of the Highlanders Division in Canada and the 1st Infantry Division from South Carolina that actually marched and took Moscow and St. Petersburg and held the cities until the armaments arrived from Virginia. People don't know this. They think, oh, it just happened. No, it didn't damn well just happen. We created the disaster the same way in communist China with Mr. Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong was not a spontaneous leader. He had collaborations with the Jesuits and the British. People don't know this, do they?
No, they should, but so much has been kept from the American people.
And there was even advance notice of some of the wealthy and powerful to take their gold and their jewelry and so on and head off to Taiwan. The wealthy and powerful of China, a lot of them got advance notice because they had internal connections through secret orders to get the hell over to Taiwan before the ball dropped on communist China. 100 million Chinese men, women, and children died because of multiple pogroms inside China. The same thing happened in Russia with a little less number. I think they estimate around 60 million. So between the two of them, 160 million people died because of our interference and our evil. And if you don't think that there's judgment coming to America and the West because of it, you're an idiot. And right. Donald Trump, by the way, even if he does good works, needs to understand we've done great evil. In fact, it was interesting. I was watching a conversation here by this Muslim, and she made actually a correct statement, which is kind of obscene from a Muslim to say, that we've done great good things, but we're also the villains in the world. Yeah, we are. We actually, for example, when we were killing off the troops in Syria, we flew out the leaders of ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and to the shock of our own troops, like, hey, why are you flying out those leaders? I thought we were just about to kill them. And we didn't. We flew them out to safety. People don't get it, do they?
No, they don't. I don't think most American people are aware that the Kurds were our closest and most loyal allies when we were fighting ISIS.
No, if it wasn't for the Kurds, it wouldn't happen. By the way, the women are just as good fighters as the men.
Oh, I think they're better marksmen, that's for sure.
Well, we know that. We know they're better marksmen. Women are naturally better marksmen. They're more steady, and they're more accurate.
Yes. Mm-hmm. More lethal.
More lethal.
Yes.
Hand-to-hand combat, man, but when you got an armament in your hand, women, especially handguns or small arms weapons. Where is this going? If we can get through to Donald Trump, I got a long list of things I want the man to do, and I want you to kind of have your rant first. But go ahead, tell us what would you say if you had a mano-a-mano day, sitting in a little fire in one of the rooms right beside the White House in the Oval Office? What would you say to POTUS, to Donald J. Trump?
Well, I would say, Mr. President, unfortunately, you have been relying upon the judgment of those basically who are very pro-Russian, pro-Chinese at this time. And you seem to think that we can make very lucrative deals with Moscow and Beijing. But in reality, they have other plans that Washington is not aware of. And as a result of your poor intelligence gathering agencies, we are just about at midnight on the nuclear clock, because Putin just about has us in checkmate. He's had us in that status for a long time, and your intelligence analysts within the various agencies have no clue as to how quickly this will come about.
Right.
Unfortunately, Mr. President, unless you are willing to listen to me and others such as Dr. Bill Deagle on these matters, the history will not even be around to judge you, because there will no longer be a United States
by the way,
of America.
It's not just the physical survival of America as a physical nation. It's the survival of the souls of those people who live in America. See, God's ultimate purpose is one thing to say, I want to save your physical health and your nation. Is a side blessing because you've submitted to me as a ruler over your nation. That's why I refer to America as Ephraimerica. We're still as apostate as we were 2,800 years ago when the Medo-Persians took the Ephraimites over to Esfahan, including the Kohanim, which, by the way, are not Jews, they're Ephraimites. People don't know this. They don't understand that what's going on right now is God's asking us to repent and turn back to Him. I don't see turning. I see the Christian church lost in space. I see the Jews completely lost in a form of Luciferic Satanism. I see the apostate Catholic Church trying to start Chrislam to link Christianity and Islam through Mary. I see the alternative churches, including transhumanism, to say we can just merge like Ray Kurzweil with the supernet. I see fake, called Luciferic and Druidic religions, including, some forms of witchcraft and so on, and the idea somehow thinking that, if you just worship nature and the green agenda, you're going to save planet Earth and Gaia. These people are morons. They don't understand either the environment or the nature of God or the interaction between galactic and solar events and Earth events. They don't understand what's coming next is a pole shift. And by the way, the pole shift is going to put a pretty damn quick stop and end to whatever mankind's planning on Earth, including the New World Order and their internet. People don't understand what's going on here in America. Is our economy is very fragile. We're in debt up to our eyeballs. The world economy is ready to pop, and somebody's running around like they got a hat pin and it's a 10-year-old birthday party. And Donald Trump is saying, hey, I made the economy better. Yeah, for the rich and powerful. The average American, there's not been a salary increase or increasing power for 40 years. Yeah, the unemployment rate's low, and that's artificial, but it's not going to last. The world economy is ready to go, isn't it? And all we need is something like a big conflict between, say, Iran and Saudi Arabia. I mean, they got the oil fields back, but if we start a big war in the Middle East, the price of oil and the energy production that supplies the world, we're going to have a massive, not depression. They'll have to invent a new word. It'll be called a cataclysmic annihilation. It won't be just a depression. It won't be a little depressed, It'll be like, how about a annihilation of the economy? How about the dead will be millions per month just from the starvation caused by the economic collapse? And, of course, the ecological results of the craziness of what we want to do, all you need is 150 megatons of nuclear explosions anywhere, including India, Pakistan, and we'll be plunged into a nuclear ice age. People don't get this, do they?
No, they don't, Dr. Deagle. And unfortunately, we may be in the last days. But
we are in the last days. I have no doubt whatsoever. When the God sent me back from heaven at 8 years of age, 60 years ago, He said, at the time of the end you will know and you'll tell my people. Believe me, I have suffered so greatly for the Lord. I suffer every day with knowing what I know. and trying to get through the word to people, even getting so disrespect from people that go on my YouTube videos, networks I've been on, co-hosts and other people, relatives, so-called colleagues. It's disgusting. It's not for my sake.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, I'm concerned about their eternal separation from God. And it doesn't just happen at the moment of death. Right now, in a sense, America is already separated from God. Even though we have this great leader, Donald Trump, who's well-intentioned, he's screwing up. In fact, even 30% of Republicans are wanting to be impeached. Probably because he's just kind of like an aggravating person who tweets too much about stuff he shouldn't tweet. That he actually thinks he knows stuff that he has no clue about. Like he just races ahead, and him and Mick Mulvaney do a dance about 5G network and GMO food and fracking, which is triggering off earthquakes. And then he thinks he's going to control the border when he's not doing anything concrete to actually stop the SAD, or Special Activity Division of the CIA, that's running the drug cartels and making these places living hell in Central America and Mexico, where the narco state runs everything, including as a proxy for the Special Activity Division of the CIA. Even the nation of Israel and Saudi Arabia, they're not autonomous. They're run by the global New World Order. People don't get this, do they?
No, they don't. Now, I want to clarify what I just said earlier.
Right.
When I said we may be in the last days, I said this emphatically, Dr. Deagle, because I still believe strongly in the power of prayer. And, of course, in the Old Testament, that biblical phrase, if my people will turn from their wicked ways.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just hoping that America still might have a revival, an awakening, a spiritual
Well, there's a
awakening.
remnant. There's a remnant. Listen, I know I talk to these people after the show and on weekends, and I call people back after consults. And even this remnant is hundreds or thousands. There's a remnant of believers in America, which is why judgment hasn't fallen yet. Now, there's not going to be a rapture where you're going to take good out. God's going to do a rapture to take evil out. Now, that removal of evil is going to be a surgical process that God's going to do. And he's going to do it in a very clever way that only God will receive the glory. God does not share his glory with anybody, not including us. He's not a glory sharer, is he?
No.
You know why? Because it's only God's way or the highway. See, God doesn't say, hey, you can do 50% of what I like, and you can do something you're like. It's okay. It's not okay. You have to do 100% of what God wants, because the definition of good is to do God and add an extra O. God doesn't compromise and say, hey, if you do some of what I like, you can do some of your stuff. No, you can't. Because everything that we do in our own will is always by definition of evil. But you don't hear that from the church. They love compromise. They love compromising on all kinds of stuff. And they also think somehow if you do good works, like give food to the poor or do this or that, it takes away sin. The fact is, Donald Trump's done a lot of good things. He's he's a well-intentioned man. You can tell he's got a good heart. He's not a racist. He's not this. He's not that. A lot of the stuff they say about him is ridiculous. But the fact is, the man is led by his own ego. His special hidden name, Masonic name, is Apollyon Rising. He's trying to reestablish the human population on Mars that was destroyed by an ancient galactic war. Did you know that all the obelisks in every nation, including in front of the Vatican and in front of the Washington Monument, are the erected phallic symbol of Apollo, the king of Mars, before the ancient galactic war destroyed the planet? Did you know that? Every single Masonic symbol, every single phallic symbol, the obelisk in front of the Vatican and in front of the Washington Monument, is a symbol of the king of Mars. Did you know that?
Well, in reality, I did for some time, but
well, I put everything in perspective. Let's put it this way: what I want, if you were to say to Mr. Trump, who's probably like his father, a high-level Scottish Rite Mason, remember now, when you reach the 17th level of the Arc Rite, they teach you the ineffable name of the Creator, Yah Ba'alan. Yah is the creator god. Baal is the fertility god, the god of fertility and all property and all law. And Osiris, the god of the underworld, is resurrected from the dead and comes back, which is why they celebrate it at Christmas. Christmas is the celebration of On, the resurrection of King Nimrod, who was destroyed and died and came back and resurrected as his son.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in Central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations for referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. At NutriMedical.com, we have the most amazing drinks with the best mouthfeel, highest quality bionutrient exposure to your body to heal and regenerate, and the most powerful persistence of nutrients to heal your body dramatically. We have Ageless, which makes you age less, which repairs your DNA, extends your telomeres, etc. We have Life Support that detoxes phase 2 detox pathways, glucuronidation, sulfation, and methylation pathway support. We have Glycemics that blocks the carbohydrate absorption and helps with diabetes or weight loss, and as well helps with people that are trying to build up muscle, using things like our special formulas from Dr. Wolf called Mega Muscles between meals along with Sports Energy Light. We have the amazing Nutri-Complete, the most complete red and greens drink in the world, with the best mouthfeel and flavor. You can often mix it too with Vitamin Mineral Mix, which is our fruit-flavored mixed power of vitamins. Stay well with NutriMedical every day.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo.
So, John,
So much space.
you made a comment on the break that I think is very apropos. We did an analysis last week, and we actually saw an 18 months difference. The letters were virtually identical between 18 months ago and the one you just got in September the 12th. Donald Trump or his functionaries around him are just trying to pass you off, make you pacified so you'll support Trump in terms of election, but not provide him any wisdom. This is disgusting. Donald Trump is a narcissistic egomaniac who's well-intentioned, and he has helped the rich and powerful in our country and helped some of the manufacturing, at least temporarily. And he's certainly better than the Democrats, but to be honest with you, not much better, because At the rate he's going with alliances with Huawei and 5G, genetically modified food, and fracking, which triggers off earthquakes, was not dealing with the internal corruption in our government, including declaring martial law, which he should, and start putting people in jail, including cleaning out his own government, because the SAD runs the drug cartels and the human organ trade. They're not independent. When we had Fast and Furious, they prosecute this Attorney General under Barack Obama that actually worked on Fast and Furious? Of course not. So across his administration, it doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. What I see happening is this letter you got showed that the people that responded to you said, look, we're going to rewrite the letter and make it look like it's a new letter, but the same points are in there. No accession to the fact that we don't have missile defense. No accession to the fact that we're whistleblowing about 2 places that he doesn't even include in the letter, La Orchila Island and the Antilles and Punta Huerte. And he mentions he's got to have a 2-layer defense and he's going to do this and that. Donald Trump, or whoever wrote the letter, is lost in space, okay? This is BS. And the problem is that if we don't get through to Trump, which we're working hard at, in fact, I have a contact that may allow me to get through to his son. If we can't get through to this man and actually witness to him, not just on an intellectual but a spirit level, he needs to know that despite his Masonic connections and his high-powered, obviously he's got some pretty high connections, because you don't get advanced in any government on earth unless you're in some form of secret order. I'd like you to comment on what you'd say to Trump now that you've said, hey, I know that these letters are a scam. I know, Donald Trump, that you don't get it, that we don't have missile defense. I know you don't understand the danger. You think you can share cake with Mr. Xi at Mar-a-Lago, or you can make a deal with Putin. He needs to stop negotiating and start taking action, doesn't he? Stop the damn negotiations, right?
Yes, but unfortunately he doesn't know how to effectively take action with the current guidance that he's receiving from his advisors.
I can tell him exactly what to do. But is he going to do it? No, not likely.
He needs to first of all meet us, Dr. Deagle, and he needs to give us an opportunity to explain why he is failing so terribly on foreign policy and national security, because right now he has no clue whatsoever. He's in an oblivious mindset based upon those around him. It's just like the emperor without clothes. They're telling him that he is wearing the most prestigious suit one can imagine, when basically he's naked.
Right.
Intellectually, he's naked when it comes to foreign policy and national security. That's about as blunt as I can get. And I hope I'm conveying my thoughts effectively to our audience. He is surrounded by people who are basically reassuring him when in fact they're assuring him of everything that's false and deceptive. And unless we are able to get to him intellectually and spiritually on these matters, he's going to take our nation completely down, possibly even before the forthcoming election.
Right.
There may never be another election. It could happen even sooner than that. That's how serious the situation is, Dr. Deagle.
Well, I'll tell you what I think is unfortunately likely to happen if he doesn't listen. What I saw as a vision as a little boy high above the earth, my little Johnny shirt spattered with blood from a tonsil surgery, is going to transpire. That means many Americans will hold up their hand for the last time, and they'll see a thermonuclear X-ray flash, and they'll see the bones of their hands without an X-ray, and then their cells will explode at 50,000 degrees, and they'll turn into an atomic vapor. And they'll say, "Hello, Lord." And their shadows will be burnt onto the sides of buildings that are on that side, where a building will actually burn just like the people in Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yes.
And what will happen is the thermonuclear flash will not only destroy the biosphere, but also probably precipitate a thermonuclear-induced ice age. What I see happening is America has gone its own way. It does more good in the world than anybody, and it does more evil in the world. And believe it or not, some of these nutty Muslims in this squad point that out. For example, when I hear people say that Saudi Arabia did 9/11 like Tucker Carlson, I want to vomit. Saudi Arabia had virtually nothing to do. Now, we tolerate Saudi Arabia. There's not one Christian church in Saudi Arabia. And if you're a Christian or if you're an alternative sexual pattern person like gay, lesbian, trans, they execute you before Friday morning prayers. Now, I don't support alternative lifestyles, but I certainly am not going to kill them because they don't agree with my viewpoints. Now, what I see happening in our world is I see a disgusting attitude on the part of Trump to say I can work on negotiations out with Saudi Arabia, with even the new prince, who, by the way, wants to get rid of Wahhabism. And by the way, Wahhabism started in London, England in the 1920s. It didn't originate in Saudi Arabia. It originated with the Masons in London. It was exported to Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
It became particularly noxious in the 70s when he decided to start funding Wahhabist schools around the world with trillions of dollars to make more and more extreme Muslims all over the world, including schools here in America that train young first and second and third generation Muslims to become terrorists.
Yes.
Okay, so we tolerate this. We should have people in every Muslim school listening to their imams, and if they're saying things inciting violence, they should be jailed and or deported. Why do we tolerate it? We do it because we create the dialectics of conflict. Just like we have no-gun zones, which are kill zones. Why don't we change the name from no-gun zones to, hey, come on here and kill zone? Why don't we talk about the idea of removing people's reasonable gun rights? Why don't we increase non-lethal weapons? So if you're in a shopping mall or if you're going to let's say a parking garage, there's a woman, say a 120-pound woman, you don't want a 260-pound man trying to rape you on your way to your car. If you can hit him with a non-lethal weapon, I'm sure you can make him cringe and roll on the ground in agony. It would be nicer than putting a big hole in his stomach and making him bleed to death in the garage. But do we do that? No.
No.
Do we have an attitude toward tolerating mentally ill young men who've had so many warnings that they should have been in a mental institution, yet we tolerate them? And we think that we should seize everybody's guns because we have a mentally ill man that shouldn't get anything sharper than a pencil? And then the left, like Swalwell and Nadler and the other morons, think, well, we want to take your guns. And then they want to force vaccinate us. They want to vaccinate me. I have a vaccine for you. It contains lead. And I'll release scalar weapons to everybody in America. You want to start a war? We're going to have a bloody civil war that'll be bloodier than the last one.
Yeah.
And people don't understand this. They don't realize they're about to take the last snippets of our autonomy because the devil and his minions in both the Democrat and Republican Party, and by proxy, unaware people like Donald Trump are marching us toward like lemmings over the cliff.
Yeah.
Now, Trump, he may be well-intentioned, but he's screwing up.
Yes.
Okay? And people need to grasp that. I care for and I pray for Trump, and I want to vote for him, but I need to talk to the man.
Yes.
I have wisdom before I go to be back with the Lord, and the Lord has given me wisdom since a little child and put me through living hell to know the stuff I know. He's had me work at U.S. Missile Defense Command, have a background in nuclear physics, been doing radiation toxicology in the World Trade Center. The last lab told me 3.5 years ago in Tokyo, we're not even allowed by the U.S. State Department to even talk to you, Deagle, let alone do it, or Geordie Labs here in America. Guess what? People say they want to argue with Deagle whether or not I know what I'm talking about the nuclear demolition of the World Trade Center. I said, you know what? I'm going to do an intellectual vivisection like an autopsy with intellectual bone scalpels, lasers, and bone separators on your freaking brain. If you think you know more than Deagle, bring it on. Because I'm sick and tired of people who don't want to show respect. I don't care if you like me, you're damn well going to show respect. Because it's not for my sake, it's for yours. Because I'm going to die someday, and my words will still ring 10,000 or a million years from now because they'll be considered at that time by future civilizations of mankind, if we survive, to be considered scripture. because it'll be not from the words of a man, but a man is dying with the words of the lips of the Lord on my lips, saying, I care for the human race, despite the fact that I've gone to eternity. I care for John W. Spring and all the fellow Americans and all the people of every skin color and language and religion on earth, because they're in apostasy. I see our entire planet in an apostolic stew of evil and stupidity. Don't you?
Yes.
An apostolic stew of evil and stupidity heading toward annihilation.
Yes. Here in America, we're destroying our most valuable resource, the human being.
Right.
Our fellow Americans. We're boarding them on a massive scale.
Well, look at our education institutions. They don't teach people how to think. They teach people how to regurgitate. Look at our churches. I asked North Coast Church here, where I live in Vista, do you teach the end times? Oh, no, we don't understand that. We're just a welcoming committee. Are you kidding? You're the welcoming committee, even if you just stick to some basics, like in how to seek the Lord. What they want, though, is they want signs. Hey, I want to build a temple. That's the abomination that desolates. And Jared Kushner, who's a wizard, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, who set up the part of the initial treaties of the world order between Canada and Mexico, called the and people don't know this. They don't realize that the treaty that Jared Kushner set up with Canada and Mexico is the first layer of the fall 1973 of the covenant between the 10 zones of Earth and the beast. And guess what the beast is? America.
Yes.
And the New World Order. And the beast.
Yes.
The AI system that controls everything through artificial intelligence and the Virtual World Project. Oh, no.
Right.
Dr. Deagle, how do you know all that?
In the meantime, Dr. Deagle, if we continue to betray the Kurds, the word's going to get around that America's word is worthless.
Exactly. And the thing is, the Kurds have actually fought against the evil. Remember, the Kurds are not Muslims, right?
Well, they are a certain sect of Muslims, but you can't classify them as Sunni or Shia.
Yeah, but they're not the typical Muslims that are believing in Wahhabism or the other garbage.
No, of course.
And many of them actually have incorporated many things that are similar to Christianity, which is why the Alawites in Syria, which under Bashar al-Assad, who's an eye doctor for Britain with a British wife, believes that you actually have to not only tolerate but actually rejoice that you have Jews and Christians at the table. You don't have that anywhere else in the Middle East. It's only Syria. So, closing moment, I want you to make a final comment here before we go. We are so close to midnight. God help us if we don't get through to Trump. My gosh, man, pray. When I saw the near mistake yesterday about Syria and the Kurds,
yes,
I just got sick to my stomach. And of course, so did Josh Bernstein, our Jewish broadcaster, on the third hour yesterday. Oh my God. Your comment.
Well, Dr. Deagle, again, I plead with the listening audience, write letters to the president on our behalf so that possibly we will be able to meet with the president.
We have to. If we don't, it's over. If we don't meet, judgment falls. That's as close as I can say it.
Which was most appropriate because that was your theme.